Okay, this meeting of the Ascension Parish Planning Commission is called to order. The date is October the 12th, 2022, 6 o'clock p.m. with the Ascension Parish Courthouse, 607 East Worthy Street, Gonzales, Louisiana, in the council chambers. If anyone is going to want to speak on an agenda item, please see Ms. Stacy and fill out a card, red or green, depending on your preference. And when the time comes, we'll call you to the podium to speak. So, Stacy, would you do a roll call for the members, please? Attendance here.
Mark Miller.
Present.
Nicholas Miller. I'm sorry, Mark. Nicholas Miller. Max Nasser. Wade Scheck-Snyder.
Here.
Randy Cluett.
Here.
And Todd Varnado.
Okay, so all members are present, and we have a quorum. I believe I'm going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'll ask the staff to introduce themselves, please, starting with Stacy.
Stacy Webb, Secretary for the Planning Commission.
Jerry Iscari, IT.
Spencer Long, Parish Attorney.
Jerome Fournier, Director of Planning and Development.
Eric Poche, Parish Planner.
Lance Brock, Zoning Official.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Chairman's comments. I have no comments tonight relative to the Commission's business. Next item is public comment on any agenda item. If anyone has filled out a card to speak on an agenda item, this is your chance. No speakers. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to compliment the commissioners who did the Planning Commissioner training. If you did the training, please get your certificate to Stacy, all right, so we can have that on record. I'd like to announce that next meeting, at the November meeting, we're going to have a presentation by Kindig-Keys Collaborative. It's going to be by Zoom again, but they're going to give us an update on the work that they've been doing on our zoning ordinance. And then I'd like to also announce that the council has appointed a new commissioner. That person will be taking his seat at the November meeting, all right? So that's all I've got, and I'll turn it over to Eric for the subdivision report.
Thank you. Mr. Nasser, Commission, you have the normal subdivision report for October 2022. The only change of note is that Pelican Crossing 6 filing has now applied for their final plat. If there are any questions about anything, please ask me.
Commissioners, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, next item on the agenda is an engineering staff report. Mr. Fournier?
No engineering staff report tonight.
Very good. Number 9 is the minutes. I'm sure you've all had a chance to review the minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Cluett to approve the minutes. Second by Mr. Varnado. Any discussion? Okay. Any opposition? Let's do it that way to make it easier. No opposition. Passes unanimously. The next item is the consent agenda, which includes an affidavit of mortgage declaration, Lance Farrell Angel, north 1/2 of Lot 6 and a portion of Lot 7, 13116 Harold Road in Gonzales, Louisiana. An affidavit of mortgage declaration, LB and Associates LLC, that's Lot MK-1, Highway 936 in Sanama, Louisiana. And an affidavit of mortgage declaration, Linda Gale Guitro, I'm guessing, Savoy Granny, Lot LG 3B, 12059 Laurel Ridge Road in Sanama, Louisiana. You have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the consent agenda by Mr. Scheck-Snyder.
Second.
Second by Mr. Vila. Let's cast your votes. Anyone opposed? No opposition. Our last item on the agenda is old business. There won't be public hearings on these two items. The public hearings were held at the last meeting. The 11A is Roberta O. Rushing Property, Tracks E-1-A-1-A and E-1-A-1-B, Family Petition. It's Earls and Associates, Council District 1, but let me check with legal. My understanding is we don't have a public hearing on this, as that was held at the last meeting.
Yes, that's correct. We did have we had the public hearing at the last meeting. We don't need to repeat it. It's mostly for you to gather some information to make that final decision.
Okay, very good. Yes, sir. Would you give us a summary of what this is about, please?
Yeah, we're just dividing up some family property. Miss Elizabeth Simon is a descendant of the property, so they're cutting out a lot for her. This was all family property at one time, and it's just we're dividing up a property for her. There's an existing 40-foot servitude of passage that was designated existingly to access some of these other lots northeast of her property, and we're just extending that so she can get to her 2-acre lot back there.
Okay. Does the staff have comment summary on this, please?
Yes, Mr. Nassa, as you stated already, this was deferred because the commission had some additional questions for the applicant who was not present. The petition meets the code, and it is only creating one additional new lot.
Okay. And I neglected to ask you this, and I should. Could you state your name and address, please?
James Fauger with Earls and Associates, 2102 South Southland Avenue, Gonzales, Louisiana.
And you are representing the petitioner?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have no other speakers. Do we have discussion amongst the commission?
Yeah, I just have. Did you speak with the family? Are they in agreement of how they're going to go about it?
Yeah, I mean, this is how they want to proceed with the property. You know, there's an existing servitude of passage, so all we're doing is tying into the existing servitude of passage.
And y'all spoke to the objecting party last time and they worked everything out?
Well, I heard they had something about, I'm sorry, I wasn't here last meeting. Something about they didn't want the road right there. Well, this family is the one that gave up servitude of passage for them to have access to their property. Okay. So to not allow them to use the existing servitude is, you know, I don't think it's very favorable to our clients since they gave up servitude already for them to access the property. And as far as flooding, you know, Central Parish has all kind of ordinances for flooding. We're at the low end down the canal. You know, they're at the higher end. This is the lower end of the property. They have to build by certain standards, field ordinance, detention, retention, stuff like that. So they're going to follow all the ordinances for, you know, flood mitigation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Mr. Scheckstein?
I had a chance to review the last meeting, video and minutes. I don't see any concern on this, so without further ado, I just want to make a quick motion to approve, and let's get this taken care of.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Have a second by Mr. Varnado. Is there any further commission discussion? Okay, well, let's cast our votes then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
No opposition? You're welcome. The second to last item on the agenda, since adjourned is the last item, is going to be an ordinance recommendations to recommend approval or denial to the Parish Council to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 14 subdivision construction specifications. That's Section 2 base course, Part 3 execution, 3.1c proportioning. Mr. Fournier.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. There was a question at the last meeting as to why we're going from 250 PSI to 200 PSI on the asphalt. So tonight I have Mr. Joey Tureau, who's our parish road engineer, and he can answer that technical question for you. All right?
Yes, Mr. Tureau.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome.
I've been with the parish as the transportation director for a little over 2 years, close to 3. I have previous experience with DOTD, and I've been in road construction my whole career. DOTD uses actually 150 PSI, and this is in the soil cement. This is not asphalt. This is the soil cement. The whole mindset about the strength of the soil cement is not only the strength of the pavement, but the cracking. Soil cement typically cracks. So what DOTD found out, and some of it is based on a study that's 200-something pages long, and I don't understand it all, but I know the conclusions on it, is, there was actually a study to put an inner layer on top of the soil cement to prevent cracking from propagating into the asphalt. This has been a problem for everybody that builds roads. But what they found, and they concluded in that study, was that making not quite as strong a pavement, but making it thicker, gives you the strength that you need to hold up the roadway, but it also is less brittle, so it doesn't crack and propagate into the asphalt, so your asphalt pavement lasts longer. So DOTD, like I said, actually uses 150 PSI. The parish has always used 250. And what I'm proposing to do is to drop that from 250 to 200, still stronger than what DOTD does, but the counter to that is that the parish already uses 14 inches of soil cement. DOTD actually only uses 12, so we actually still have a stronger soil cement base than what DOTD uses on a much higher ADT, a much more traveled roadway with typically heavier vehicles on it. So I thought this was an easy call to make, to back off a little bit on that and concentrate more on the preservation of the asphalt as far as the amount of money that a developer needs in order to build a roadway, shifting the money towards the asphalt pavement and backing off of the really rigid soil cement.
Well, I want to tell you that we appreciate you being here, taking your time out to be here, and we appreciate your explanation. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Turo? Mr. Miller?
Mr. Chair, thank you for taking my call the other day, answered a lot of my questions I had. Do we have a way to kind of track the projects that are going to be under these new ordinances so that we can do studies and continue to research and, going forward? I don't think, cracks and potholes comes as any surprise to anyone that drives on a road down here. But so that we kind of start to hammer out some of the finer details of this is what's working, this is not, and so we can list these projects and these roadways that are under these new ordinances so that we know going forward, this is working and let's continue this route, or this is not, and let's, maybe take another crack at it and fix it.
We always analyze every road 1 year after it's built. That's built into our procedure. But DOTD has been doing it for 20 years plus of going with a little bit weaker soil cement with thicker. Early in my career, they did 8.5 inches of soil cement, but they used 300 PSI. And it made for a very strong base. So they have a history of that, but they also have a history of that really strong, thin base cracking like the Dickens and causing problems. So now they have about 20 years of actual in-field representation of this weaker but thicker soil cement base. And we can always do that, analyze. We try to keep our files current on what happened on a certain road, so whenever it fails, we can go back to that file and find out, how it was designed and how it was put together.
Any more questions?
No,
Mr. Miller?
thank you.
Mr. Scheck-Snyder?
No questions.
Oh, I saw your little red light on.
Oh.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Kluwer, second by Mr. Scheck-Snyder. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? No opposition. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
And now the last item on the agenda is adjourned. Motion by Mr. Scheck-Snyder, second by Mr. Miller. Meeting adjourned.